Have you ever stood in front of a woman you love and felt completely lost? She was hurting, you knew something was wrong, but when you asked, she said, "I'm fine." And even though those words came out calmly, something inside you said, "No, she's not." But the more you tried to help, the more distant she seemed. You tried logic. You offered solutions. You tried to fix it. And nothing worked. My friend, that moment wasn't a failure. That moment was your doorway. Your invitation into something far deeper. Because here's the truth. You don't understand women with your mind. You understand them with your presence. In today's world, especially in the fast-paced culture of America, men are raised to chase success, solve problems, and stay in control. From a young age, boys are taught to suppress feelings and prioritize logic. That mindset creates achievers, builders, providers, but it also builds a wall when it comes to understanding women. Because women don't want control, they want connection. They don't want to be solved, they want to be seen. This is where most men struggle, not because they don't care, but because they haven't been shown how to care in a way that actually lands emotionally. Many women walk through life carrying silent emotional weights. They've been through battles, internally and externally, and they don't always speak about it. But their hearts are always speaking, through their eyes, their energy, their tone, and sometimes their silence. A woman might be talking about her day, and while the words seem ordinary, there's something underneath. That something is what most men miss, because they're trained to listen to the surface, not the soul. And when a man responds only to the words, he often misses the message. What a woman truly wants is presence. She wants to know, in the middle of her vulnerability, that you're there, not rushing, not analyzing, not looking for the next step. Just there. Fully. That kind of presence is rare. It's powerful. It doesn't require a degree, a title, or a solution. It requires awareness, stillness, and care. Most men think they need to say the perfect thing. But women remember how you made them feel, not what you said. Sometimes, your quiet attention speaks louder than any advice ever could. When she senses that you're really with her, not just in body, but in spirit, that's when true understanding begins. There are moments when a woman breaks down and all you see are the tears, the trembling voice, the frustration in her face, and your instinct tells you to stop it, to fix it, to make it all better. That instinct comes from a good place. You want to help because you care. But the truth is, she doesn't need it to stop. She needs you to stay. She needs you to be there without trying to make the moment disappear. Because in that emotion, in that vulnerability, she's opening a part of herself that few people ever see. When a woman is emotional, she is not out of control. She is alive in her truth. That truth may not be clean or calm or comfortable. It may come out messy, loud, or even quiet and distant. But it's real. And that's the space where connection is born, not in perfection, but in presence. Most men rush to logic. They want to find the cause, create a solution, and move on. But that approach works with problems, not with people. Especially not with a woman's heart. She's not asking for answers. She's asking for your eyes, your ears, your attention. She wants to know that when she lets her guard down, you won't retreat. That when she's not easy to love, you won't pull away. Your silence, your embrace, your willingness to sit in the discomfort with her, those are the things that make her feel safe. You don't need to explain away her pain or compare it to something else. All you need to do is witness it. Witness her, not as a problem to be solved, but as a human to be held. That moment, when you don't run, when you simply stay, that's when she feels understood. Imagine your partner comes home from work, drops her bag on the floor, and lets out a deep sigh. She doesn't even look up as she says, "I'm so tired of being overlooked. I give everything, and no one even notices." In that moment, many men instinctively go into problem-solving mode. They might say, "Just quit that job," or "Don't let it get to you," or "You care too much about what people think." And although those responses might seem helpful, they often do the opposite. She shuts down. She walks away. The connection breaks. It's not because you said something wrong. It's because you didn't meet her where she was emotionally. She didn't want to be redirected. She wanted to be recognized. What if instead you said, "That sounds exhausting. I'm really sorry you're feeling that way. I'm here." It's simple. It's not advice. It's not a fix. It's presence. And that small shift can change everything. Or think about the time she's quiet, and you ask what's wrong, and she says, "Nothing." But her tone is flat, her body is distant, and something feels off. Most guys take that answer at face value. But someone who understands emotional connection might gently say, "I can feel something's bothering you. I'm not going anywhere. Whenever you're ready, I'm here." That kind of response doesn't push. It invites. These small, everyday situations are the real test of understanding. It's not about grand gestures. It's about micro-moments. When you stop reacting with defense or solutions and start responding with care and attention, you give her something rare. You let her know that her feelings matter, that she matters. And when a woman feels that, she softens. She opens. Not because you said the perfect thing, but because you made her feel seen. This is where the real transformation begins. When a man starts to understand that his true strength doesn't come from how much he knows or how fast he can fix things, but from how deeply he can connect. It's not about being louder, tougher, or smarter. It's about becoming a space where a woman feels emotionally safe. That kind of space doesn't require force. It requires heart. It requires patience. It requires showing up when it's uncomfortable and staying when it's easier to leave. When a woman feels emotionally safe, something inside her shifts. Her guard drops. Her voice softens. Her laughter becomes real. She doesn't have to hold it all together. She doesn't have to pretend she's fine. She doesn't have to explain every emotion she feels. Because now she knows she's not alone in it. And that's what she's been craving. Not just someone to share her days with, but someone to share her truth with. It doesn't take a perfect man to offer this. It takes a present one. A man who says, "I may not always understand everything you feel, but I will always try to meet you in it." That one sentence, spoken with sincerity, carries more weight than any checklist of romantic gestures, because it tells her, "I'm not here just to enjoy the good parts. I'm here for all of it." It's easy to love someone when things are light, fun, and effortless. But the real connection is forged in the vulnerable moments. The moments when she doesn't feel like smiling. The moments when she questions her worth. The moments when she's emotionally raw. That's when she's not testing you, she's trusting you. And when you rise in those moments, you become the kind of man she can truly lean on. There's another side to this, and it belongs to the women. You've carried so much for so long. You've been the nurturer, the fixer, the strong one, the one who holds it all together even when you're falling apart inside. You've shown up for others again and again, sometimes at the cost of your own peace. Somewhere along the way, you learned that asking for help was weakness, that expressing too much made you too emotional, and that being vulnerable was a risk. So you stayed quiet. You became your own shelter. You kept showing strength, even when all you wanted was to be held. But here's the truth. You don't have to hold everything alone. You don't have to shrink your feelings to be understood. You're not asking for too much. You're asking for the right connection. You deserve to be met with a heart that doesn't just hear your words, but understands your silence. And yes, that kind of emotional presence might not come easily to everyone, but the right man, he wants to learn. He wants to meet you where you are. Sometimes he just doesn't know how yet. That's where your power lies, not in demanding love, but in guiding it. Not in hardening your heart, but in showing how to love you by how you love yourself. You have every right to set boundaries, to speak your truth, to ask for more. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. When you invite a man into your emotional world with grace instead of blame, you give him the chance to rise, to step up, to meet you with intention. And when you do that from a place of knowing your worth, something changes. You no longer wait to be chosen. You choose yourself first. This isn't just about understanding each other. It's about unlearning the noise we've been fed for years. It's about waking up to the truth that love isn't built in grand romantic moments. It's built in the daily presence, the consistent care, the choice to stay when things get real. And the reality is, most relationships don't break from lack of love. They break from a lack of emotional safety. They break when people stop showing up fully, when they start protecting themselves more than they protect the connection. What holds a relationship together isn't how good the days are. It's how present you are on the hard days. When she's tired, when she's distant, when she's afraid to be soft because the world made her believe softness is dangerous. That's the moment that counts. That's when you lean in, not pull away. That's when your presence becomes your power. Not your words, not your plans, just your willingness to be all in, even when it's uncomfortable. For men, this is a different kind of strength. The strength to be still, to feel, to let go of the need to control or fix, and instead just witness what's real. To let her be emotional without making her feel like a burden. To love her in the storm, not just the sunshine. That kind of love doesn't just heal her. It elevates her. It helps her feel safe enough to return to herself. It reminds her that she doesn't have to shrink to be loved. That she can be loud, soft, broken, brilliant, messy, magical, and still held. And for women, this is the moment where you remember, your feelings are not flaws. Your depth is not something to hide. Your emotional truth is not something to apologize for. You are not asking for too much. You're just asking for something real. And real is worth waiting for. Real is worth growing for. Real is what changes everything. So here it is. If you're a man listening to this, this is your moment. This is the time to stop living on the surface and start showing up at the level that actually matters. Drop the need to always have the answer. Drop the pressure to always be right. Be real. Be raw. Be present. A woman doesn't need your perfection. She needs your presence. She needs you to stop trying to fix her and start feeling with her. She needs you to stop pulling away when it gets uncomfortable and start leaning in when it matters most. That's what strength looks like now. That's what leadership in love looks like. And if you're a woman hearing this, don't dim yourself anymore. Don't shrink to fit into a version of yourself that makes everyone else comfortable. You were never meant to be quiet just to keep the peace. Your voice, your emotions, your needs, they are not too much. They are your power. The way you feel deeply, the way you love fiercely, the way you carry so much and still keep going, that is strength beyond measure. But you don't have to carry it all alone anymore. You don't have to harden to be respected. You can be soft and still be strong. You can be open and still be safe. You can demand love that meets you fully, and you have every right to walk away from anything that doesn't. This is the invitation to all of us to rise, to evolve, to show up in ways we weren't taught but were born to learn, to love in a way that doesn't just feel good but that heals, that builds, that awakens the best in each other. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait for the perfect moment. This is the moment. This is the time to understand deeper, connect stronger, and love with everything you've got. Because once you do, everything changes. And not just for them, for you.